You know that show called The Loud House? That show where the 11-year-old kid named Lincoln has to survive a day with his 10 sisters? It's one of my favorite shows. I have three favorite characters: Lynn Jr., Lincoln, and Lisa. So when I heard that there was a new episode focused on Lincoln and the first idea of so, I was very happy. It was Friday afternoon. I got home from school and threw my backpack on the floor and ran to the TV room. The living room, you mean, bro? I turned on the TV and changed the channel to Nickelodeon. SpongeBob was on, and since Loud House usually comes on around 3:30, and I got home around 3:20, I just watched the rest of the episode. Finally, the Loud House came on. They were usual episodes, and sometimes the new episode at 6 would come on. It was normal until it was time for the new episode. I had been prepared, and I knew the title of the new episode. It was White Hair, but when the intro for the new episode came on, Lincoln seemed very depressed for an unknown reason. Every time he walked by one of his sisters, they would look back at him all sad. When he got into the bathroom and Lana made the bathroom get flooded, he wasn't surprised. He just let it happen. Near the end, when the intro sang, "One boy and 10 girls," there was an IV bag next to Lincoln, and all the girls were looking at him with tears in their eyes. The intro was finally over, but the title card was different. It wasn't White Hair. It said, "The Worst Day Ever." Lincoln was on the title card as usual, but he was bandaged in a hospital bed. I was completely bewildered about what in the heck was going on. Then the episode started, but it was Lynn just throwing the ball against the wall over and over. Then Lincoln opened the door and said, "Hey, Lynn." Lynn looked at him and said back, "Hey, Lynn, God, son of a..." The ball had hit her right in the nose. Lynn then fell into the ground. Lincoln then said, "Oh, sorry, are you okay, sis?" Lynn then responded with, "Yeah, I'm fine." Her hands were over her nose, and when she removed them, they were all red and her nose was bleeding. "Are you sure?" Lincoln then said. Lynn then said, "Yeah, it's nothing really. This happens all the time." "I understood that," Lincoln said. "Hold on," and ran to his room. He grabbed a tissue box and gave it to Lynn. "Thanks, bro," Lynn said back. She put two tissues in her nostrils, and then they talked about what they were thinking about doing for the day. They both were bored and didn't know what to do for the day, so Lincoln left and closed the door. Lincoln then went downstairs and turned on the TV and said to the audience, "You know, sometimes we don't know what to do for the day, and this is a perfect example of those days. I asked everyone in the family what they were doing, even Lori, and no one is doing anything today." Charles then walked up to the couch with a leash in his mouth. He dropped it and then panted. Lincoln looked up at the dog and said, "Sorry, buddy, I'm not in the mood today." You know, something I noticed in the story is that there is a lot of dialogue. Back to the story. Charles then picked up the leash and walked away, whimpering. Lincoln then again at Charles, looking guilty and sorry, and said, "All right, Charles, I don't have anything to do today, so I might as well take you for a walk." Charles then jumped on Lincoln and started licking him. The next thing was the entire family on the couch. It was like it was a lazy Sunday, except for Lynn. She was still upstairs with the bloody nose and everything. When she walked down the stairs, Glory looked at Lynn and asked, "Lynn, what happened to you?" Lynn said back, "It's a long story. Wait a second." She went back upstairs to the bathroom with the tissue box. It went back to the family when all of a sudden, bang! It actually scared the life out of me. Everyone looked like they had seen a ghost. The scene went back to the bathroom with Lynn looking out the window. At first, I didn't know what she saw, but later on, I knew what it was. And to be honest, if I was Lynn, I would be mortified for my life. "No," Lynn said very quietly. She burst through the door and ran down the stairs. "Guys, we need to go outside right now," Lynn practically screamed. I didn't want to know what I was going to see, but I also did want to know. Everyone was on the front porch with their hand over their mouths, and soon everyone started to cry. "Lincoln," Lori said very softly. She was so quiet I could barely hear it. Then what I saw almost made me want to throw up. It was Lincoln, but with a black eye, a bloody nose, a hole in his chest, and blood coming out of his mouth. I had learned when I was younger that when someone gets shot in the lung, they start to cough up blood, so that's what I thought happened. Charles was on top of someone in a black hood. Charles saw the family and got off of the guy, who was now running away from the scene. He was now on Lincoln, nudged him, but he didn't wake up. I thought he had died. Now, in the hospital, Lincoln was all bandaged up and in a hospital bed, just like in the intro card. Everyone was around the bed, crying. The doctor then came in and said with utter seriousness, "Lincoln has been beaten up and shot in the right lung, but he will live." There was a relief. Now it was nighttime, and everyone was outside of the room, except for Lynn. "How could this happen to you?" she whispered. "Whoever that guy was, we'll find him. For you, Lincoln." Everyone, even Lincoln, was now home, but Lincoln was sleeping with Laura and Lenny. I'm guessing to have some company with him and to be protected. He woke up in the middle of the night saying, "Well, what happened?" Lori woke up after he said that, and she ran over to Lincoln and hugged him. This wanted to make me cry so much. Rory then told Lincoln the entire story, and tears started to build up in both of their eyes. The episode ended with a card saying, "The person who hurt Lincoln was caught, but Lincoln's right lung was inactive for the rest of his life." There was sad music playing in the background, and I started to cry. Then a message said, "Sorry for the inconvenience. Regularly scheduled shows will come on now." Popped up. Thank goodness that was over. I then looked up what that was, and it was an animation test that was somehow published and viewed by some unlucky people, and I was one of them. I couldn't stop thinking about it and started to have nightmares about it. Still, I have nightmares, and I wonder, what would it be like if I was Lincoln in that scenario?